Parasite, Gu, breeding longevity path, starting from the love-enamored Gu. Author, Thousand Lakes True Person. Genre, Adventure, Martial Arts, Cultivation Fantasy. Chapter 201, Advancing to Mid-Foundation Establishment Realm _2. Very good, very good. When I was at the peak of the Foundation Establishment's early stage, I only had 50 drops of liquid mana. After advancing to the mid-stage of the Foundation Establishment, the number surprisingly reached 100 drops instantly. The mana power had doubled. No wonder the difference between the early and middle stages of the Foundation Establishment is so huge. Merely the total amount of mana is not on the same level. Simply with the amount of mana, I can crush a cultivator at the early stage of the Foundation Establishment, let alone the mastery of spiritual energy and various techniques. Moreover, I now have 9 Gu insects in my possession, each holding 100 drops of liquid mana, which means my mana power is 9 times that of the ordinary cultivators at the middle stage of the Foundation Establishment. This is absolutely outrageous. Is this the tremendous power of the Insect God Sutra? It seems not that extraordinary in the early stage, but the more it advances, the more terrifying the technique appears. Zhou Sui was utterly astonished. He sensed the vast mana within his body, and each move seemed to contain profound power. After advancing to the mid-stage of the Foundation Establishment, his mana had doubled. Now he understood what the main cultivation method for cultivators at the Foundation Establishment was. That is to increase the liquid mana within the Danshan Qi Si. If one breaks through the bottleneck, the Danshan Qi Si can expand further, containing more mana. However, if the Danshan Qi Si can't expand, one will be stuck in this realm and form a permanent bottleneck. This is why many cultivators at the early stage of the Foundation Establishment fail to break through and advance to the mid-stage. Because of the flaws in their techniques, their foundations are not solid enough, their Danshan Qi Si can't expand, and basically 50 drops of liquid mana is their limit. If they force breakthroughs, it will cause irreparable damage to their Danshan. Of course, there are ways to solve this problem in the world of cultivators. That is, the second-order breakthrough pill. If you take this pill, you can help cultivators at the Foundation Establishment to expand their Danshan, forcibly help them break the bottleneck to advance to mid-stage. The problem is that these pills are very rare and extremely precious. Even if you have spirit stones, it's not for certain you can buy them. Moreover, taking this pill has severe side effects. Because of forcibly expanding Danshan, instead of the natural and gradual expansion that regular cultivators experience over a long time, this will cause damage to the Danshan Qi Si. In this case, there is basically no hope for progressing to the late stage of the Foundation Establishment. Of course, for those cultivators at the Foundation Establishment with mediocre talent, even the mid-stage would be great. As for the late stage, they wouldn't even dare to dream about it. Wait, my divine sense, it has received such a tremendous increase. This should be comparable to the divine sense in the early stage of the Golden Core. Just at this moment, Zhou Sui was suddenly shocked. When advancing to the middle stage of the Foundation Establishment, it wasn't only his mana that had received an enormous increase, his divine sense had also seen astonishing growth. Previously, his divine sense only had a range of about 250 feet. But now, this had increased to 800 feet. Knowing that even cultivators who just advanced to the early stage of the Golden Core only have a divine sense range around 500 feet. But now, his divine sense has surpassed those cultivators who just advanced to the Golden Core. Hush! An invisible wave of divine sense suddenly spread out, covering a distance of 800 feet. Everything within this range was perceived clearly by him, from the macro to the micro. Birds flying in the sky, ants crawling on the ground, fish swimming in the river, cicadas crying out loud, etc., all clearly showed up in his divine sense. Of course, thanks to the increase of his divine sense power. His heart eye's observational ability had grown even more terrifying. The range covered by the heart eye was 10 times the power of his divine sense. This is a constant ratio. Therefore, now his heart eye could cover an area of 8,000 feet. This data was even more horrifying. Not even the divine sense exploration range of the cultivators at the Golden Core completion stage, no, not even the early stage nascent soul cultivators could match his current heart eye's perception. The 7 apertures spirit secret is indeed terrifying. Although the practice is extremely difficult, once successful, the abilities that emerge are like cheats. This is not just a simple technique, it's more like an immortal technique. Zhou Sui was in awe, and he was becoming even more aware of the horror of the 7 apertures spirit secret. What a great opportunity it was for the ancestor of the Lu family to get this technique in the past. It's such a pity that due to insufficient aptitude, even having obtained such an opportunity, he couldn't get any further with it. The late stage of the foundation establishment was the limit for that ancestor of the Lu family, beyond that, he couldn't break through. But he was different, with the help of the bookworm, he could go further. Thinking about this, Zhou Sui opened his virtual panel to check his current cultivation state. After all, there's nothing more direct than the data on the virtual panel. Host, Zhou Sui, cultivation, middle period of foundation establishment, progress, 1%, lifespan, 32, 1200 years. Talent, 6th stage spirit root, 90%. Swordsmanship, 2nd order premier class, 10%. Runes, 2nd order lower class, 50%. Formation, 2nd order lower class, 50%. Pill master, 2nd order mid class, 95%. Phantasma transformation skill, minor accomplishment, 90%. 5 elements alchemy technique, great achievement, 85%. Chapter 202, Advancing to Mid Foundation Establishment Realm _3. 7 Apertures Spirit Secret, Heart Eye Recognition, Heart Eye Insight, Heart Eye Linguistics, 20%. Fireball Technique, Grandmaster, 80%, Wind Blade Art, Proficient, Golden Light Skill, Proficient, Ice Frost Skill, Proficient, Spring Wind Rain Skill, Proficient, Lightning Summoning Skill, Proficient. Obsession Goo, Mid-Class of 3rd Stage, Clone Goo, Mid-Class of 2nd Stage, Wine Bug, Mid-Class of 2nd Stage, Gold Eating Bug, Mid-Class of 2nd Stage, Bookworm, Mid-Class of 2nd Stage, Dream Soul Goo, Upper Class of 2nd Stage, Dragon Elephant Goo, Mid-Class of 2nd Stage, Golden Light Thousand Poison Goo, Mid-Class of 2nd Stage, Teleportation Insect, Mid-Class of 2nd Stage. My lifespan is actually 1200 years, increasing by 200 years. As expected, upgrading even a minor realm can increase one's lifespan. Zhou Sui smiled slightly, quite pleased. That's the pleasure of cultivation, seeing one's lifespan continually increasing, constantly surpassing mortals. There is simply no other cultivation system that can compete. Did the level of the 9 goo insects also increase? It seems that the improvement of the host's cultivation level will collectively promote the upgrade of the goo insects. Zhou Sui stroked his chin. He sensed that the 9 goo insects on his body all had coincidentally increased by 1 minor level. Those originally in the lower class of the 2nd stage have been promoted to the mid-class of the 2nd stage. If they were in the mid-class of the 2nd stage, they were promoted to the upper class of the 2nd stage. Clearly, their abilities have also made a great improvement, nurturing even more miraculous powers. One could say that due to the increase in the abilities of the goo insects, his combat power has undergone an astonishing transformation. From a certain perspective, he can now easily defeat ordinary cultivators in the later stages of foundation establishment. Of course, whether or not he is invincible in the foundation establishment realm is hard to say. After all, there are many geniuses in the world. No one knows their true strength. Zhou Sui does not aim for being invincible within the same realm, he only desires constant breakthroughs, achieving higher realms. Even if one is invincible in the foundation establishment realm, if one is unable to ascend to the golden core realm, living for more than 200 years would only lead to a dead end. In the world of cultivation, the realm is the most important. Even if one lacks combat power, one can still suppress others with superior realm, bully those in foundation establishment realm as a golden core cultivator. It is dimensional suppression at its finest. But the benefits gained from dual cultivation this time are not just these. The yin force from the golden core female cultivator has not been completely consumed. If I completely consume this yin force, my cultivation may swiftly rise to the peak of the mid-stage foundation establishment. At this moment, Zhou Sui also sensed a surge of vast yin force hidden deep within his Danshan Qi Si that he hadn't completely digested. Once fully refined, his internal mana could probably be further improved. The reason for such enormous benefits from the yin force this time? It's purely because Shen Baiqian, a golden core female cultivator who has lived for more than 200 years with her cultivation reaching the peak of the mid-stage golden core, her mana is many times stronger than Lang Yuexi's. Furthermore, she possesses the power of Taiyan spirit fire in her body, making her even more formidable. So, the benefits he acquired this time are immense, probably equal to consuming over 20 etherwood pills and surpassing the benefits gained from dual cultivation. If he has one more such golden core female cultivator to assist, he might ascend to the later stage of foundation establishment soon. He didn't know how many years of painstaking cultivation he had saved. He really needed to rely on Deo companions. Companion, method, land, these are the three keys to cultivation. It's no surprise the Deo companion ranks second. This ranking is not without its reasons. Chapter 203, It doesn't matter to have multiple wives and one Deo companion, right? _1. Honestly, after cultivating for these 8 years, Zhou Sui now truly understood the difficulties in the cultivation journey of a foundation establishment cultivator. Despite the grueling cultivation over 8 years and the assistance of countless pills, he was still unable to advance to the middle stage of foundation establishment. But now, with the aid of the union from a golden core female cultivator, he easily achieved a breakthrough. This dual cultivation essentially saved him at least 20 years of painstaking cultivation. It was as if he had added 20 years to his lifespan. The benefits of this were beyond description. Golden core stage female cultivators are so powerful. Would a late golden core stage female cultivator be even more extraordinary? Zhou Sui blinked, he was already getting ambitious. The intriguing sensation of fast advancement in cultivation was somewhat addictive. My dear, you indeed are my destined one. At this time, Shen Baiqian finally woke up. She stretched lazily, revealing her grandeur, and then lay on Zhou Sui, looking extremely relaxed. She sensed her own condition and was overjoyed in her heart. After this dual cultivation, she astonishingly discovered that her level of cultivation had advanced to the late golden core stage. Her mana and soul strength had greatly increased. She had been stuck at the middle stage of the golden core for a long time and it seemed that there was no hope for a breakthrough. The reason for this was the Taiyan spirit fire. Her achievement was due to the help of the Taiyan spirit fire. However, the side effect of the Taiyan spirit fire was also preventing her from breaking through to the late golden core stage. Because this spiritual fire contained pure yin energy, causing the energy within her body to gradually become imbalanced. This would sometimes lead to mana disruption within her body. Her physical body was also gradually unable to withstand the power of the Taiyan spirit fire. Over the years, she had rarely engaged in combat with others, instead staying in the sect to practice alchemy. This was due to fear of an uncontrolled outburst of the Taiyan spirit fire within her body. There was a solution for the Taiyan spirit fire, but it was not simple. That was to look for a man with a pure yang body to engage in dual cultivation, and the cultivation level of the man should not be too weak. However, men with pure yang bodies and cultivators with heavenly spirit root were equally rare. Even though she had searched for dozens of years, she had found not a single trace. But now, she finally found Zhou Sui. Indeed, Zhou Sui was not originally a pure yang body, but because of the power of the dragon elephant gu, he started to have the dragon elephant bloodline within his body, a power that ordinary pure yang bodies could not match. This also resulted in his body containing extremely rich pure yang power, which was an extremely strong and vigorous energy. So when the two engaged in dual cultivation, yin and yang fused, and water and fire mingled. It was not only Zhou Sui who benefited, advancing to the middle foundation establishment stage. In fact, Shen Baiqian benefited the most, not only stabilizing the Taiyan spirit fire within her body but also breaking through to the late golden core stage. Many golden core cultivators wanted to stage a breakthrough, but were simply incapable. But now, only after a single session of dual cultivation, such results appeared. Consequently, Shen Baiqian was elated, and she entirely regarded Zhou Sui as her destined one. If not for this man, she would surely die. Not just through the explosion of the terrible poison within her body resulting in death, but also possibly from not being able to control the Taiyan spirit fire, leading to death from the spirit fire. It could be said that Zhou Sui had saved her life. But I already have 4 Deo companions. Zhou Sui blinked his eyes and looked at Shen Baiqian. What's wrong with that? Isn't it very normal for men to have 3 wives and 4 concubines? And you already have 4 Deo companions, having another concubine will not matter. I am the sect leader of the Danding faction. If you marry me, you'll get the entire Danding faction as a dowry. Shen Baiqian giggled, looking coquettishly at Zhou Sui as if she wished to completely merge into him. The problem is, won't there be some trouble after the Danding faction finds out about this? Zhou Sui asked somewhat nervously. If the elders of the Danding faction find out that he had married their sect master, they would probably go berserk. And there was also a supreme elder keeping his eyes on them. There would have been some trouble before, but it won't be now. Because the supreme elder of the Danding faction, Fang Fan, has died in this relic dungeon. Now, only I remain in the Danding faction as the sole golden core. Shen Baiqian sighed. After all, Supreme Elder Fang Fan was her senior, and he had helped her a lot in the past. He even contributed greatly in her attainment of the golden core, but unexpectedly, he died in this calamity. He died? Didn't I warn you before? And he still died in there. Zhou Sui was shocked. The divine consciousness transmission before was indeed from you, no wonder it felt so familiar. Shen Baiqian's eyes were full of allure. The doubts in her heart were finally resolved. No wonder she found the previous divine consciousness transmission so familiar, as if she had encountered it before. It turned out to be her dear who did it. Thinking about this, her heart was filled with sweetness, and she was extremely delighted. Well, although you mentioned it, and I did remind him. But Supreme Elder Fang Fan didn't believe, he thought it was nonsense. Of course, the more crucial thing is, he was already 470 years old, and without a nascent soul spirit item, his death was almost certain. So for him, this was a significant opportunity for reaching nascent soul, and he would not give up just because of an abrupt warning. Chapter 204, Having many wives for a Taoist companion is fine, right? 2. It was because of this that when the cave dwelling's prohibition was lifted, he was practically the first one to charge in. The consequence was as expected, he was also the first to be killed by the demon. Shen Baiqian said helplessly. However, she also understood the thoughts of Elder Fang Fan from the Danding faction, since he was not going to live long anyway. Now that he somehow received this chance, naturally he didn't want to give it up. No matter if it was real or fake, he was ready to fight to death for it. Of course, reality was cruel, he lost his bet, and he died inside the cave dwelling. He became food for the demon. It wasn't just Elder Fang Fan from Danding faction who died. Even the elder, Song Fihung from King Mu sect also died. Since the two basically left together, they entered the cave dwelling and were immediately killed. Now, Lin Yazhu is the only golden core master left in King Mu sect. Shen Baiqian continued. Was there such a thing? Upon hearing this, Zhou Sui was instantly moved. Although the death of these two elders was sad, for him, it was not entirely a bad thing. After all, if he married Lin Yazhu, he would get the entire King Mu sect as a dowry. Now, the sect leaders of the three gold core sects were his Dao companions. He was ruling over the three major factions without a fight. Others had to fight for their lives, employ various tricks and deceit, and still might not be successful. But now, as long as he married these three golden core female cultivators, he could naturally rule over the three major sects, become the absolute ruler of this area, and no one could compare with him. Regrettably, with demons appearing in the world, this place was no longer safe. Otherwise, staying here as the regional ruler would be an incredibly leisurely and comfortable life. What is it, dear husband? Are you thinking of marrying that old woman, Lin Yazhu? But she's not so easy to deal with. However, if it's your charm, maybe you could make that old woman see reason. Shen Baiqian laughed, speaking to Zhou Sui. Ahem, not quite. It's just that the Immortal Mist sect is planning to relocate soon, and may even leave Immortal Mist Island. Zhou Sui coughed once and spoke solemnly. What? Planning on relocating? Wanting to leave Immortal Mist Island? What happened? Shen Baiqian was taken aback all of a sudden. Because relocating the entire sect is not a simple matter. After all, the choice of a sect's site is made after a long time of selection, not every place has a third stage spirit vein. Don't be fooled by the vastness of the Kanglan Sea. But in reality, islands suitable for human cultivators to live on are quite scarce. Moreover, with the boundless sea, countless sea beasts and magical beasts live inside it. Once one goes to sea, unimaginable dangers might be encountered. If it's not necessary, no one would choose to relocate, leave Immortal Mist Island, and go to another place to take risks. In fact, this is my suggestion. Zhou Sui spoke solemnly, speaking out his worries one by one. So, it's the threat of the demon you're worried about. But your concern, husband, is not unfounded, that mysterious demon is really terrifying. Although it is still in a sealed state now, it will break free sooner or later. At that time, no one will be able to control it. Perhaps the Danding faction also needs to move. Upon hearing this, Shen Baiqian's eyes showed a touch of brilliance. She had personally experienced the battle with that mysterious demon, knowing how terrifying it was, it definitely shouldn't be provoked. If it completely breaks free of its seal, then no one on the whole immortal mist island will be able to control it. Even if the nascent soul ancestor takes action, there might not be a chance. After all, the former nascent soul sect, immortal mist sect, paid a huge price just to seal the blood demon tree. But now, the many sects on Immortal Mist Island combined don't have the strength of the Immortal Mist sect of the past. Thinking about eradicating the blood demon tree is undoubtedly overly fanciful. So she also had the idea of moving the Danding faction. Because the Danding faction is not far from the Immortal Mist sect, the two major sects are basically in the same area. If the Immortal Mist sect encounters a problem, then the Danding faction will also have a problem, and there is no way to escape. Really? In that case, come back to the Immortal Mist sect with me first to discuss. Zhou Sui wrapped his arm around Shen Baiqian. What? Before Shen Baiqian could say anything, Zhou Sui activated the teleportation insect and they were instantly enveloped in a spatial energy. The next second, the two of them appeared on the Immortal Mist peak of the Immortal Mist sect, returning to their bedroom. Is this the power of teleportation? Shen Baiqian was taken aback, looking at Zhou Sui in disbelief. After all, this was a power that not even a Golden Core Master possessed, and it was in the hands of a Foundation Establishment cultivator. Without a doubt, this man in front of her must have a huge secret and possess unimaginable opportunities. But she didn't plan to ask anything. Even as partners, there are still some secrets that cannot be told. Moreover, the stronger her man was, the better it was. Thinking of this, her beautiful eyes appeared even more charming. In the afternoon, Zhou Sui quickly introduced Shen Baiqian to his four Dao companions, Lang Yuexi, Ji Binjiu, Mu Ziai, and Xia Jinjian. Although the four Dao companions were surprised, they didn't expect their husband to have married the sect leader of the Danding faction, Shen Baiqian. But thinking about their husband's charm, they quickly accepted it. Chapter 205, Doesn't matter to have multiple wives and one Taoist companion, right? 3. Husband, I didn't expect that you actually won over Sister Shen. Lang Yuexi was rendered speechless, not knowing what to say. Even though she had sensed it before, thinking that Shen Baiqian would eventually fall for her husband, she did not expect it to happen so quickly. The efficiency was too impressive. Nonetheless, she felt very delighted, because it meant they were joined by a companion in the late Golden Core stage. This could be very helpful for the crisis they would face next. It wouldn't be accurate to say that he won me over. I should say that I'm the one who won him over. If it wasn't for my insistence, he wouldn't necessarily have agreed. Shen Baiqian glanced at Zhou Sui resentfully. What? Hearing this, Lang Yuexi and the others widened their beautiful eyes in surprise. They didn't expect the dignified Golden Core female cultivator to show such feminine vulnerability, especially by actively pursuing a man. If this news were to spread, it would definitely shock the world. She had been completely captivated by Zhou Sui. It made them wonder just how irresistible their husband was, to even charm a Golden Core female cultivator. And to be frankly, wasn't this taking unashamedly advantage of the situation? As women, should they not uphold some restraint? On thinking further, their cheeks reddened. They realized they also pursued their husband. It appeared that they didn't really have the right to comment on this Golden Core female cultivator. Cough cough, all right, this time, Baiqian has come to discuss moving away from Immortal Mist Island. Zhou Sui coughed lightly, changed the subject, and started to talk about serious matters. After all, this was the most critical plan. He now felt an increasingly strong crisis looming, as if a great unseen horror was monitoring him. If things continued this way, their lives would be in danger. Moving away from Immortal Mist Island? If Sister Shen joins us, or even if the Danding faction joins us, our relocation task would become much easier. Lang Yuexi spoke with joy. Honestly, the most significant threat to their departure would be the numerous demons and sea beasts lying in the depths of the sea. Among them, there are many at the third and fourth stages. As for the first and second stage entities, they were simply countless. If they were to encounter a sea beast tide, there would be countless casualties. However, if two Golden Core Masters take action, the safety would undeniably increase considerably. Not just the Danding faction, I have also communicated with that old woman, Lin Yazhu. She also showed great interest in the relocation. If things go well, the three major Golden Core sects Immortal Mist Sect, Danding Faction, and King Mu Sect may relocate together. In this way, our trip will be safer. Shen Baiqian said with a faint smile. Although she despised the old woman, Lin Yazhu, she would still choose to cooperate with her in important situations. Really? Is Sister Lin also joining? If Sister Lin joins too, then our trip is guaranteed to be safe. Hearing this, Lang Yuexi immediately felt more at ease. After all, with the three Golden Core Masters and many Foundation Establishment Elders from the three sects, leaving Immortal Mist Island would not be a significant issue. No one would dare to obstruct. Night falls, in the main hall of Immortal Mist Peak of the Immortal Mist Sect. Many Foundation Establishment Elders attended the meeting. Almost all higher-ranking Elders were present. Because this meeting was about the future of the Immortal Mist Sect. What? Does the Sect Master actually want to relocate the Immortal Mist Sect and even leave the Immortal Mist Island? I disagree, I strongly object to this. Our Immortal Mist Sect has been here for thousands of years. How could we just move away? It's absurd. The Foundation Establishment Elders were dumbfounded. They originally expected Sect Master Lang Yuexi to summon them to expand territories, maybe conquer more cities. Given the large number of Golden Core cultivators and Foundation Establishment cultivators who died in the Blood Shadow Ancestors Cave, many forces suffered losses, which was the perfect opportunity for the Immortal Mist Sect to expand. Who could have imagined that Sect Master Lang Yuexi actually intended to relocate the Immortal Mist Sect and leave the Immortal Mist Island? It was simply absurd. Quiet, my mind is made up. Relocating the sect is unavoidable. The remains of that cave sealed a nascent soul-level demon. The Immortal Mist Sect perished once because of it. Even the nascent soul ancestors from 3,000 years ago were no match for it. How can we handle it? Don't be deceived by its current sealed state, breaking the seal is only a matter of time. If the Immortal Mist Sect continues to stay here, there's only one path, death. Lang Yuexi said decisively. Now, the Immortal Mist Sect was her dominion, her word was law. Hearing this, the Foundation Establishment Elders looked sullen. After all, they were not alone. They had Foundation Establishment families behind them. If they really relocate, what about the people behind them? Clearly, if the Immortal Mist Sect indeed decides to relocate, it would be impossible to take everybody. They would have to take only some core disciples, and others would have to be abandoned. More importantly, it's hard to leave one's roots. They'd been thriving here for so long with all their connections. They can't just uproot and leave. The vested interests involved were too significant. Of course, if you don't wish to leave, you can stay. As your sect master, I won't force you. Chapter 206, having multiple wives and one Taoist companion doesn't matter, right? 4. In fact, even after the sect departs, those of you who stay behind can occupy this third stage spirit vein. As well as many markets, and medicinal gardens. However, whether you can hold on to them depends on your abilities. We have 3 years, a total of 3 years to prepare. If we're ready, we'll set off immediately and leave Immortal Mist Island. The move isn't just for the Immortal Mist Sect. The Danding Faction and the King Mu Sect will also join us in our migration. Lang Yuexi said solemnly. She did not plan to take everyone, taking just a part of them would be enough. If no one is willing to go with her, she and Zhou Sui can just leave on their own. Anyway, she had fulfilled her duty as the sect master of the Immortal Mist Sect. What? The faces of the many Foundation Establishment Elders changed dramatically at her words. Truthfully, if it were only Lang Yuexi's decision, they would have had some doubts, thinking that maybe the sect master acted impulsively. However, now, even the Danding Faction and the King Mu Sect were involved. It was clear that something extraordinary must have happened that led the Golden Core Masters of the 3 major sects to make this decision, and it certainly wasn't a whim. In no time, news of the Immortal Mist Sect's plan of migration spread across the sect, leaving countless disciples and elders flabbergasted and in disbelief. No way, the sect is actually planning to relocate and leave Immortal Mist Island for other islands? Isn't this a bit too exaggerated? I heard that the sealed demon is extremely powerful and will inevitably result in an endless disaster. So for safety, our sect master decided to move the whole sect off Immortal Mist Island. This seems a bit excessive. Even if this demon is powerful, is there really no way to deal with it? Exactly. We should ask the Golden Core Masters on Immortal Mist Island to strengthen the seal, or call in another nascent soul sect to eliminate this demon. Haha, do you think the sect master didn't think about these things? None of these solutions would work. You must know it's a fourth stage formation, something a golden core master couldn't solve. As for inviting a nascent soul ancestor, don't even dream about it. Not to mention whether we can invite one, even if we did, by the time the nascent soul ancestor arrives, Immortal Mist Island would have already been in danger. But even so, we can't just relocate. What about the cultivating clans attached to the sect? What about the medicinal gardens and markets, and what about all the resource mines? Are we just going to abandon everything? Exactly, according to the command of the sect master, we're abandoning everything. It's every man for himself. The faces of many Immortal Mist sect disciples were very ugly. Because the occurrence was too abrupt, they didn't have any time to react. This was something that had never happened in 1,000 years. What should we do? Should we also leave with the sect? This is where we've lived for so long, how can we just leave? Moreover, we don't know what could happen overseas. Maybe some of us might die in the middle of the journey. After all, there are countless powerful beasts deep within the ocean. Someone questioned. About this, according to the sect master's command, we are not forced to leave. If you want to stay, you can stay and continue managing those resource mines, spirit veins, and markets of the Immortal Mist sect. Even occupying the third stage spirit vein of Immortal Mist Peak is not a problem. Another Immortal Mist sect disciple answered. Well then, I'd rather stay here. Exactly, I think this is just a case of worrying over nothing. I agree, the demon has been sealed for 3,000 years, I don't believe it could break free this quickly. Instead of venturing somewhere else, we'd rather stay here. There's no guarantee that we would be treated as well elsewhere, we would have to start all over again. Many Immortal Mist sect disciples don't want to leave with the sect, because they have family, relatives, and many relationships here. It's impossible to just leave. As for me, I don't particularly mind, wherever we go, cultivating is still cultivating. Exactly, in the cultivation world, what matters most is the backing you have. Who would respect you without a backing? Countless loose cultivators die at the hands of others. That's true. Do you think that the cultivators out there respect the Immortal Mist sect? No, they respect the Golden Core Masters behind the Immortal Mist sect. If we didn't have Golden Core Masters supporting us, do you think we could hold on to these treasures? Don't kid yourselves. Indeed, what you have is all thanks to the sect. If you really think the wealth you own can be protected by your individual strength, then you're dreaming. Many others in the Immortal Mist sect laughed coldly. Anyway, they had cut all connections with the mundane world a long time ago, so it doesn't matter where the Immortal Mist sect goes. They are very clear that their comfortable life in the cultivation world is entirely due to their affiliation with the Immortal Mist sect. Chapter 207, Refining Array Heartgoo, Controlling the Heavenly Earthly Strange Insect _1. Several days later, the Immortal Mist sect's relocation was in full swing. After all, once the Immortal Mist sect left, it would probably not return in the short term. So naturally, they carried away whatever they could, leaving no resource behind. The entire Immortal Mist sect had at least 7 veins of spirit stones and 18 veins of metal ore. These veins could have been mined for hundreds of years. But now, they were being ruthlessly mined, taking away as much as they could. Zhou Sui also utilized the strength of the gold-eating bugs. After advancing to the mid-class of second stage, the gold-eating bugs ate ore and spirit stones much faster, and its inner space expanded a lot, reaching the volume of large warehouses. More importantly, the number of these second-stage gold-eating bugs had reached 2,000. This was an astonishing number. Once these gold-eating bugs were released, they would inevitably form an insect disaster. Because of this, Zhou Sui deployed these gold-eating bugs to devour the spirit stone and metal veins of the Immortal Mist sect, bringing back all these resources. After all, his Gu Divine Bowl had an immeasurably large capacity, fully capable of housing veins. It could accommodate any amount of resources. Above all, these were treasures, they could not be abandoned here. Of course, Zhou Sui's focus was not on these matters, leaving it to his Dao companion to handle. His most important task now was to improve his cultivation. If I want to enhance my combat strength at present, formations are the key. Zhou Sui stroked his chin. Truthfully, among the 4 arts of cultivation, the technique of formation was the most difficult. Although its study did not consume a great amount of resources like alchemy, rune, artifact refining, etc., it, however, required the most comprehension. It's similar to mathematics, either you know it, or you don't, there is no fudging. Of course, once learned, the benefits are enormous. For other cultivation techniques, such as skills, swordsmanship, martial arts, and other killing techniques, challenging a higher level is extremely hard, almost impossible. But it's different for formations. Once learned, it can be considered invincible at the same level and can even challenge higher levels. Because the essence of the power of formation is to manipulate the power of the heaven and earth, to achieve great results with small efforts. It's like a lever, using a slight force to leverage the vast power of heaven and earth. Even a foundation establishment cultivator, with the power of formation, can fight against a golden core master. Such is the charm of formations. Perhaps I can rely on the power of goo insects to rapidly improve my understanding of formations. Zhou Sui's eyes flashed with brilliance. Although the power of the bookworm could accelerate his understanding of formations, he didn't have that much time to learn. The immortal mist sect could move at any time, or even be attacked by enemies. So he wanted to improve his understanding of formations faster. So he began to search for suitable goo insects in his goo divine bowl. Half a day later, he finally found a suitable goo insect for refining. Array heart goo, this is a goo insect of formation, it can transform into the core of a formation, controlling myriad formations. Suddenly, a series of information about the array heart goo flooded into the depths of Zhou Sui's sea of consciousness. This goo insect couldn't set up formations by itself. But it could be integrated into the core of a formation, becoming the formation spirit controlling the formation. It's known that in the world of cultivation, the majority of formations are inanimate, needing human manipulation. A human-operated formation and a non-human-operated formation are entirely different. Their power can't be mentioned in the same breath. The power of the array heart goo lies in this: if integrated into a third-stage formation, it can become the formation spirit of a third-stage formation. In this way, the power of the third-stage formation can be perfectly utilized, as if a third-stage array master was controlling it. The enemy can't possibly resist. To a certain extent, the array heart goo is the artificial intelligence of formations, containing infinite power. Moreover, the mystery of the array heart goo is not just that. Once integrated into a formation, the array heart goo can thoroughly analyze the mystery of that formation. As the master of the array heart goo, one can comprehend the mysteries of various formations through the array heart goo. In this way, he could use the power of the array heart goo to quickly learn many formations. It can be said that the array heart goo is simply a divine tool for learning formations. The main material for refining the array heart goo is the Great Wool Spirit Fruit. The Great Wool Spirit Fruit is a special spirit fruit that can temporarily enhance a cultivator's comprehension. This is indeed an extremely rare material in the world of cultivation, very valuable and seldom seen. But fortunately, the Immortal Mist sect has such a spirit fruit, it can be taken out from the treasury. Zhou Sui stroked his chin. He was feeling quite emotional in his heart. Thankfully, he was backed by the Golden Core sect like the Immortal Mist sect that can collect spiritual medicine and materials from all over the world. If it were just him, it would basically be impossible. No wonder Golden Core masters and nascent soul ancestors, these powerful cultivators, even though they can dominate everywhere, still want to create sects, a force of their own. The benefits of a force, to them, are simply indescribable. Whatever they want, an order can send a large number of cultivators to find it. Who knows how much time and effort can be saved? A day later, leveraging the power of Lang Yuexi, Zhou Sui obtained the Great Wool Spirit Fruit along with a myriad of auxiliary materials from the Immortal Mist sect's treasury. Then, he put all these materials into the Goo Divine Bowl. Whir! The next second, he immediately burned 2,000 middle-grade spirit stones to urge the Goo Divine Bowl. Immediately a large amount of material was refined in an instant, transforming into strands of grey energy and becoming countless vapors. Who knows after how long, these grey vapors rapidly converged together and formed a solid. Instantly, a grey goo insect appeared in the Goo Divine Bowl. Its body was filled with densely packed mysterious runes, seeming to engrave mysterious formations. Boom! Immediately, a surge of information emerged from it, flooding into the depths of Zhou Sui's sea of consciousness. Array heart goo, one of the heavenly earthly wondrous insects, goo insect that is nurtured from countless formations, is a natural formation spirit, having innate control over formations. Born from formations, feeding on formations, nurture it well, this is an incredible goo insect that can control all formations in the world, even immortals lust after it, hiding infinite secrets. Immediately, this grey goo insect, from the Goo Divine Bowl, integrated into his body in a blink of an eye, entering his brain. Zhou Sui could feel that he and this array heart gu had become one. At this moment, he had finally refined his 10th gu insect. Chapter 208, 3 years later, advancing to 3rd stage array master, ingenious use of array heart gu _1. The array heart gu? Let's test this gu insect's power first. Zhou Sui stroked his chin. The mist yin-yang formation of the immortal mist sex mountain protection array is naturally the most suitable formation for this gu insect. This happens to be a 3rd class, high-grade array. Even considering the entire immortal mist island, it can be considered a top-level array. A newly born array heart gu would definitely benefit greatly if it could devour this formation. And the core of this formation happens to be located on Immortal Mist Peak. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, under the control of Zhou Sui's mind, the array heart gu turned into a beam of grey light and instantly disappeared into the depths of this 3rd stage formation. As if acting on instinct, the array heart gu directly found the core of this big formation and immediately burrowed into it. Boom boom boom! In an instant, the power of the array heart gu spread out, as if wave after wave of formation patterns were flowing out from its body, continuously eroding this formation. This was similar to a virus infiltrating a computer system. If a successful invasion occurred, then this computer system would be at the mercy of the virus. It was the same with the array heart gu. If it could completely assimilate this big formation, then it would gain complete control over this 3rd order formation, becoming the formation spirit of this formation, and would easily master the power of the formation. This. Suddenly, Zhou Sui sat cross-legged on the ground, as the mysteries of the formation flooded into his sea of consciousness like a tide, with the array heart gu continuously invading and assimilating this 3rd stage formation. This helped him to further understand the formation. First-level formations are just the most basic formations in the cultivation world. These low-level formations are ubiquitous and only make preliminary use of nature's spiritual energy, without many requirements for the environment of the formation. But 2nd stage formations are different. They can't be set up casually. They need to use the surrounding environment of heaven and earth to set up a 2nd stage formation. For example, by using a yin-sha environment, a yin-sha big formation can be set up, or by using the environment of an earth-fire spirit vein, an earth-fire big formation can be set up. In a cold ice environment, one can set up a cold ice big formation, etc. This is a formation that takes advantage of the local conditions. It can be said that once one reaches the 2nd stage formation level, one can easily manipulate the natural forces of heaven and earth, exerting power far beyond the individual's power. As for the 3rd stage formations, they're even more terrifying. They use the environment of heaven and earth to form domain power, which is somewhat similar to a Golden Core Master's Golden Core Law domain, turning into an array barrier. Once one enters a 3rd stage formation, they would be enveloped by the array barrier, making escape impossible, which is why 3rd stage formations have become the mountain protection array of the Golden Core sect. Even Golden Core Masters cannot forcefully break in. At this moment, Zhou Sui felt his understanding of formations was growing rapidly. Originally, with the help of his partner Xia Jinjian, his understanding of formations had risen to the lower class of 2nd stage. But now, with the power of the array heart gu, his understanding of 2nd stage formations was increasing rapidly. Mid-class of 2nd stage. High class of 2nd stage. In just a few hours, his understanding of formations had improved to the high level of the 2nd stage. Even the realm of 3rd stage formations was not too far away. Array heart gu, it's simply an unrivaled tool for understanding formations. Zhou Sui was immediately amazed. Originally, if he wanted to understand formations, it wasn't so simple. It would take months, if not years of studying, before he could possibly understand them. But now, with the power of array heart gu, he could easily unravel the secrets of the 3rd stage mist yin-yang formation, enlightening him about the mysteries of many 3rd stage formations. The saying grasp 1, understand 100 holds true. Even if only 1 3rd tier formation is understood through and through, the rest are just a matter of time. To some extent, the understanding of formations is easy yet difficult. If one doesn't have enough comprehension, even reaching the divinity transformation realm wouldn't allow them to understand formations. But if one has enough comprehension, even at the Qi cultivation stage they could understand 3rd tier formations, or even 4th tier formations. However, such people are as rare as pandas, few and far between. Array heart gu is steadily consuming the mist yin-yang formation. Once it's successful, it will become the formation spirit of this 3rd order formation. And I can also use the power of the array heart gu to step into the realm of a third-tier array master in one fell swoop. Zhou Sui stroked his chin, feeling quite satisfied. If he became a third-tier array master, he could freely manipulate this third-order large formation, unleashing unparalleled power. And even if he went elsewhere, he could also set up the same formation. After all, a safe cultivation environment is necessary, and formations are quite requisite for it. Otherwise, any cultivator could rush into his cave residence. Wouldn't that be a joke? This cultivation session lasted until the evening, when the sun set and the moon rose. Right, I wonder how the blood demon tree is doing. At this time, a thought flashed through Zhou Sui's mind. He had always kept a clone near the blood shadow ancestor's cave residence. He was monitoring every move of this demon at all times. If anything unexpected happened, he could quickly rally his wives and concubines to flee. In that cave residence, the power emanating from the blood demon tree was still spreading all around. The entire land was being eroded by the demon's power, appearing to be painted blood red. Chapter 209, 3 years later, advancing to third stage array master, ingenious use of array heart gu _2. At this moment, the land was completely parched, with many fissures appearing. Various weeds, trees, and other plants had all lost their vitality and were wilting away. This place seemed to have become a dead land. It could be said that in just a few days, the power of the blood demon tree had expanded once again, spreading for 20 miles. Deep into the earth, it seemed like many terrifying blood-red roots were growing, and it was unknown how far they extended. The entire area was filled with endless blood-colored fog. It was as if a peerless demon creature was being nurtured deep below the ground, causing people to tremble in fear. If it weren't for the fourth stage grand formation sealing this demon, it would have probably escaped by now. Damn it, the growth rate of this demon is too astonishing. If it really regains its full strength, I'm afraid there will be very few who can escape. It seems that UXI must pack up and leave as soon as possible. Zhou Sui took a deep breath. Even though it was just his clone monitoring, he still felt terrified. This was an invincible enemy. Although he also wanted to save the human population in this area, he just didn't have the ability to do so. Those who achieve can benefit the world, the poor can only fend for themselves. The same is true in the cultivation world. With no power, to preserve oneself is already commendable, rushing to fight the enemy to the death just results in an additional corpse, it holds no meaning, only serving as food for the demons. He wasn't a saint who would sacrifice his own life for the sake of all people. Of course, if there's a chance of success, it's worth it. But if not, it's nothing but a death wish. At this very moment, deep within the lair of the blood shadow ancestor, the blood demon tree still quietly remained deep in the earth, but its roots were continuously extending, and it seemed to have infiltrated numerous spirit veins deep within the earth, releasing endless demonic qi. With each breath, it could consume a massive volume of energy. Its initially withered body was now gradually regaining its vitality. Damn immortal mist sect, damn Baldi! They sealed me for 3,000 years, I will avenge this grudge. Just you wait, even if you are dead, I will annihilate all your disciples and descendants. A human face suddenly appeared on the trunk of the blood demon tree, with a savage expression, looking like the blood shadow ancestor from 3,000 years ago, emanating a terrifying, evil aura, making one shiver in fear. A series of roars came from deep within the earth, causing all the nearby creatures to shudder in fear and retreat. However, there were still sealed chains appearing on its body, even after its hard struggle, it was still bound, immobile. It could only bear this temporarily while accumulating its power. On the other side, within Suanbao Tower, many Golden Core Masters had gathered. These were all high-ranking elders of Suanbao Tower. They were basically in charge of everything on Immortal Mist Island. Master, how is it? What did the headquarters say? Yes, the demon is about to escape its seal, this is a big deal. I've heard that it's a nascent soul level demon, we simply cannot resist it on our own. Many elders were inquiring, looking at the master of Suanbao Tower. This matter was of grave concern for the future of Suanbao Tower. I have already informed headquarters about this matter. But the headquarters said they are powerless to help as the nascent soul ancestor there has other important matters to attend to. They cannot come to Immortal Mist Island for now. The master of Suanbao Tower said helplessly. Knowing that the demon was about to break its seal, he had contacted the headquarters, hoping they could send the nascent soul ancestor to exterminate the demon. However, even the nascent soul ancestors at Suanbao Tower headquarters were limited in number. They had their own matters to tend to, and couldn't afford to travel to this remote island to exterminate the demon. And they weren't sure of being successful either. If they failed, then years of cultivation would be wasted. What? Doesn't the headquarters realize the severity of this matter? If this demon breaks free, not only will Immortal Mist Island suffer, but the entire Kanglan Sea area will be affected. That's right, given the speed of the demon's cultivation, it may not only become a nascent soul level demon, but it could potentially ascend to the god transformation level. That would be a disaster for the entire Kanglan Sea area. The faces of the Golden Core elders were grim. They didn't expect the headquarters to have such a response. There's nothing we can do, even the headquarters is having a tough time right now. A nascent soul ancestor isn't someone we can simply request. The master of Suanbao Tower was helpless. He was just a minor Golden Core master after all. Thinking about requesting a nascent soul ancestor was a pipe dream. He too was helpless in this situation. If that's the case, what should we do? A Golden Core elder asked, filled with worry. For a moment, all the elders present were silent. After all, they were not willing to leave Immortal Mist Island. Even though this island was located in a remote area, it was rich in resources and they could wield their power, acquiring vast resources. If they were to move to other places, they might not be able to gain as much. Let's wait and see. We'll try to reseal the demon. If we can't do that, then we'll have to evacuate. The master of Suanbao Tower spoke solemnly. He had already prepared for the worst. Chapter 210, 3 years later, advancing to third stage Array Master, ingenious use of Array Heartgoo _3. On Immortal Mist Island, another location, many Golden Core Masters gathered. They were all invited by Luo Hua, the sect master of the Ghost Demon sect. Sect Master Luo, you didn't summon us here to deal with the Immortal Mist sect, did you? A Golden Core Master asked bluntly. Yes, you're right. Our target is the Immortal Mist sect. I believe that everyone already knows that the Blood Shadow Ancient Master's cave was a trap this time. Many Golden Core Masters died. Surprisingly, only the Immortal Mist sect didn't lose a single man. I suspect that this is all part of a conspiracy by the Immortal Mist sect. It was Lang Yuexi, the sect master of the Immortal Mist sect, who deliberately set up the trap. This trap led to the death of many Golden Core Masters. Don't you all want to get your revenge? Ghost Demon Sect Master Luo Hua clenched his fist and gritted his teeth, fury surging in him. To be truthful, this exploration of the Blood Shadow Ancient Master's cave caused massive losses to the Ghost Demon Sect. Not only did they lose a Supreme Elder, but many Foundation Establishment cultivators also died. You could say that with all the accumulated grudges, Luo Hua wished he could wipe out the Immortal Mist sect immediately and eradicate this damned sect completely. Especially that female Golden Core cultivator, he wanted to capture her and shred her to pieces as a way to vent his hatred. Sect Master Luo, the Immortal Mist sect is indeed suspicious, but the Cultivation World still operates on the principle of power. As rumors have it, the Immortal Mist sect, King Mu sect, and Danding faction are allied. Also, with the protection of their mountain protection array, even if we all attacked together, we wouldn't stand a chance. A Golden Core Master said in a low voice. He was indeed very unhappy with the Immortal Mist sect and even suspected that the false information about the Blood Shadow Ancient Master's cave was released by them with the purpose of exterminating other Golden Core Masters. But suspicion is just suspicion. In this world, power is the bottom line. Without sufficient power, even if one bore extraordinary grudges, one would still have to swallow them. If one acted rashly, it would only lead to a path of self-destruction. You can rest assured. Earlier on, I received reliable information. This event in the cave of the Blood Shadow Ancient Master also caused the deaths of 2 Supreme Elders from the King Mu sect and Danding faction. Lang Chan, the previous sect master of the Immortal Mist sect, also died due to his severe injuries. Even though that Lang Yuexi tried her best to keep it a secret, how could she possibly keep it from me? That is to say, the entire Immortal Mist sect now only has one Golden Core Master. If we join forces, we can definitely take down the Immortal Mist sect. The eyes of Ghost Demon Sect Master Luo Hua revealed a trace of chilling light, his body permeated with an intense aura of murderous intent. He had never forgotten his previous defeat, and he thirsted for revenge every moment. Now, he had finally found his chance. It's not as simple as you think. Even if the Immortal Mist sect only has one Golden Core Master left, with their mountain protection array, they're still as stable as Mount Tai. Another Golden Core Master shook his head. If the Immortal Mist sect was really that easy to be wiped out, it would have been annihilated many times over the past 1,000 years. The presence of that third-order formation had deterred countless ill-intentioned people. Ordinarily, yes. But even the toughest wall can be breached from the inside. I have a mole inside the Immortal Mist sect. With inside and outside collaboration, the so-called Immortal Mist sect's mountain protection array is not worth mentioning. Ghost Demon Sect Master Luo Hua said with a slight smile. If that's the case, then it's worth considering. Many Golden Core Masters were moved. After all, if they could overthrow the Immortal Mist sect, the resources they could obtain would be tremendous, enough for each of them to make a fortune. But we can't be hasty. Let's wait. When the Immortal Mist sect becomes complacent, we will strike immediately and annihilate them. Ghost Demon Sect Master Luo Hua clenched his fist. He seemed to have seen the scene of himself wiping out the Immortal Mist sect and felt extremely thrilled deep inside. 3 years later. At the Immortal Mist sect, on Immortal Mist Peak, in a quiet chamber. Zhou Sui sat cross-legged on the floor, cultivating the Insect God Sutra. Every goo insect within his body was inhaling and exhaling an endless stream of nature's spiritual energy. His body was like a kunpeng, swallowing all the nature's spiritual energy. His body was like a vortex, greedily devouring the heavenly spiritual energy. The mana in his body was also increasing gradually. Fortunately, this place was a third-stage spirit vein, containing a massive amount of nature's spiritual energy. Otherwise, the spiritual energy emitted by a normal spirit vein would not be enough for his routine cultivation. Phew! At this moment, Zhou Sui opened his eyes, revealing an astonishing glow that seemed to penetrate the void, seeing through countless secrets. It was enough to make countless people tremble with fear. Good, my cultivation has progressed greatly. Zhou Sui sensed the fluid of mana in the depth of his Danshan Qi Si. At this moment, his Danshan was like a deep pond, accommodating a large amount of mana fluid. Like a surging river, it was flowing through every meridian in his body, penetrating every A-cup ointment. The mana in his body was incredibly vast, like turbulent waves. Undeniably, compared to 3 years ago, his cultivation had improved a lot. Thinking of this, he glanced at his virtual panel. Host, Zhou Sui, Cultivation, Middle Stage Foundation Establishment, Progress, 70%, Lifespan, 35, 1400, years. Aptitude, 6th Stage Spirit Root, 99%. Swordsmanship, 2nd Order Top Rank, 60%. Rune, 2nd Order Low Rank, 60%. 7th Order Formation, 3rd Order Lower Rank, 50%. Pill Master, 2nd Order Top Rank, 5%. Phantasma Transformation Skill, Minor Accomplishment, 90%. 5 Elements Alchemy Technique, Great Accomplishment, 95%. 7 Apertures Spirit Secret, Heart Eye Recognition, Heart Eye Insight, Heart Eye Linguistics, 40%.